Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're here to talk about Flamecraft, the board game that I have been playing, and that was really popular when it came out in 2022. This is a deluxe edition that we're going to be taking a look at. The game is for up to 5 players, and it plays in about 60 minutes. And basically you are playing a worker placement game with all of these dragons moving around the board, going to different shops, taking these actions and playing your artisan dragons on there to gain reputation points and be basically the best person in the village to do these things and get the most amount of points at the end of the game. And let me go ahead and show you how it works.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are with Flamecraft. This is a game that I actually just played with my family, and we had a ton of fun for a variety of reasons that I want to get into. Again, this is only going to be a general overview of the rules so you guys can get an idea of how the game works, but it won't be a full-on tutorial. There's plenty of other good videos that do that already that I even follow to play these games, so there's no reason for me to recreate that. I'll just give you guys a general overview so you guys understand how the game is kind of played, see if it's for you, and then give you my impressions on the actual game here. So, in the game of Flamecraft, you're essentially a flame keeper, and you're essentially you're basically placing dragons on all of these different shops in all the different areas, either placing them on ideal homes or casting enchantments, all that kind of stuff. And basically, the goal of the game is for the players to have the most reputation and be the best flame keeper. So you can see the reputation track here. This map is obviously really long that you have here. It does come with the game or anything. This is the deluxe version that we're looking at, and these are the different resources in the game. They're all made out of wood. It looks fantastic. It has this nice little insert. I think it looks great, and the artwork of the game really sells it. It looks like a cutesy game with the dragons and stuff. Really nice artwork on all the different shops and all the different cards and dragons. They're all unique. Really cool stuff, but obviously that's just one factor of the game, but it does look really good. That was the first thing that a lot of people always say when they play a game like this on here. So, again, the whole point is to get the most amount of points by going up on top of this reputation track. Now, how do you earn reputation? Well, you can earn reputation in a variety of ways. Let's look at how a turn actually works here. So, you can see laid out on the board, these are the 6 starting areas that you can go to. This is a worker placement type game where you're placing dragons in different areas to try and take actions and do things in certain shops. These are the shops that start off in the game. You do earn more as these cards fill up with different dragons. Once you fill them up, a new card actually comes on board, and then a new shop gets opened up. You can have over here in the other spots here. And this is the card everyone gets, so you can kind of see what happens on every turn. So you can see there's 2 options that you can take on a player's turn. You can either gather or enchant. Gather means that you basically do these 4 steps here, and if you decide to enchant, these are the 2 steps you do here. So if you gather, you basically go ahead and take your miniature and go to any location that you actually want. So let's say I decide to go to the Hello Nursery one right here. Hello Nursery basically means it's telling you to gain the goods listed. So over here, you can see that it tells you there's a green and a green. So you go ahead and grab the 2 green tokens, and then you grab those resources for yourself because there's 2 green right here. The next thing it says is you may place a dragon and gain a reward. So everyone's going to have a starting hand of dragons. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the top 2 here. And these are the starting dragons. You can see they all have abilities and stuff like that. And you're basically trying to place a dragon by matching one of the icons that are listed here. So you can see in order to get that gold coin, which is what the colored ones are, or in order to get a fancy dragon, which is what those cards are up there, the ones that are colored, you need to place a card that actually matches that icon. So obviously you can tell none of the 2 cards match the icons that are there, but let's just go ahead and pretend that I had this one in my hands here that's on the field. You can see that the bread does match one of those icons, so I can go ahead and place this here, and then I would get the gold coin for getting that reward, which is what that says, may place and gain the reward. You're gaining the reward listed there, which is always in color. So once you place your dragon there, you go ahead and place it there. The next step here says may fire 1 dragon here. So of all the dragons that you're at the location, you can go ahead and fire up one of their fire abilities, as you can see here. And they all have unique ones. Like this one here says draw another dragon. So you get to draw a dragon card. Over here it says gift a good to another player to gain 2 hearts. Hearts are reputation that we talked about before. So if I were to have one of my good tokens and I gave one of those green ones to another player, I would go up 2 on the reputation track. So that would be that. And then the last thing you could do on here, as it says, is may use a shop ability, if any. The starting shops don't have any abilities, but later on, as they come in, you can see here, for example, they do have abilities on them, and you can use them if you want to. The other thing you can do here as well, as you can see, is enchant. Enchant says choose a symbol that matches the shop icon, pay the goods cost, and gain the rewards listed. So the way that you gain majority of your points here is by getting these cards here, the enchantment cards, by enchanting a shop. And that's the purple deck here. They do have a gold deck that you can use as well, which has fancier abilities and stuff like that. They recommend you start with the purple one, but you can start with whatever one you want. And you can see that they all require different resources, as you can see here. So when you have the required resources, like let's say that I had, I gain resources by different dragons and stuff like that, like I just showed you. Let's say like I had the resources for this one. You can see that you need 2 meat and 3 of the purple symbols. So if you had those 5, you can spend them, and then you would get 4 points on the reputation track, and then 1 dragon from the actual deck to put into your hand. Same thing with this one. You do this, you get those, and then you have 6 points. You do this one here, and it's pairs. So if you have just one pair, it's worth 0 points. But if you have 2 pairs, it's worth 2. Another set 4 and another set 8. Same thing with this one. So you're trying to get these cards and enchant so you can actually get these reputation points, as you guys can see here. And then you go ahead, and if you do, basically what happens is that you take these reputation cards and you actually have to complete them in the actual location that you're in. So I couldn't complete this one because I'm not at that location. So the only one I actually can complete any in this situation, because none of them have the, or sorry, no, I can. The leaf symbol's right there. So I can complete this one if I, in theory, had those resources. And if I pay the resources, get my reputation points on the track, I then take the card and put it on top. So on future turns, when someone comes here, now when they gain resources, now they're gaining 3 resources, because now there's 3 cards there. You can have an unlimited amount of cards up there that has, those symbols. So that's essentially what you do. You gain the resources, you gain the points that it says, and then you tuck the card behind that shop that you're actually in, and then you get to fire up all of the abilities if you want to of the fire that you're here. So all the abilities listed at the shop that have the fire symbol under the dragon, you can do all of them instead of just one. If you were gathering, if you enchant, you get to do all the abilities of the dragon in that location. And then you end your turn, and then you flip any new shops, if there was any. If this thing gets filled with dragons like I talked about before, and they're all filled just like this, and you filled one on your turn, then a new shop is going to come and play, and you're going to go ahead and put that right there, and now the next person is going to be able to go to that shop. And then you also refill this area over here. This is your dragons that you get when it tells you to take from the deck. You can either take from the top of the deck or look at one of the ones that are visible on top. And then you also refill the enchantment deck if I were to complete one on the previous turn. But that's essentially how the game kind of works, is you're basically going to these shops and placing your dragons there one at a time in worker placement fashion, taking resources and using those resources to complete these cards up here. And like I said, the game has a really good look to it. I love the different abilities that the dragons have, the different abilities from the shops. There's a lot of different things you can do. Like this one here is a wild symbol, so you can play any card here, and then you gain 2 reputation. Over here, if you put a dragon here with these symbols like we talked about, you get 2 gold coins. And gold coins in the game are actually and a wild resource. If you have a gold coin, you can replace it for any wild resource in the game. Fancy dragons is this symbol right here. So if I place this here, I get a fancy dragon, and fancy dragons have end goals, so it's really cool. So there's 2 different types of fancy dragons here. Let me see if I can show you guys 2 different ones here. So you can see there's one that had the nighttime symbol. The nighttime symbol there on the right means that this actually happens at the end of the game, so you gain 1 reputation for every 2 artisan dragon that you have and meet in town, plus 3 if you have the most. So that would be an end score ability that you have in your hand that you keep secret. Or if it has this symbol here, was a sunlight, then you actually just do it when you actually can. So it says pay 5 diamonds to gain 3 reputation and 2 gold. So you do that whenever you want. So these dragons here give you some really powerful abilities, and then the artisan dragons are the ones that you place underneath the shops to gain those abilities on these shops. And that's it. You play until this deck basically runs out. If all these cards have been run through, or this deck of dragons is completely taken up, that triggers the end of the game, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. It's really, really cool. There's a couple of other rules here as well. You can also use special powers for each of the dragons, so each person that's playing has their own special ability that kind of breaks the rules I just talked about. It has the variety of using either the gold deck or the purple deck. There's a lot of different shop cards that you're not going to see all in one game here. There's a stack of them, and they all have different abilities, and you're not going to see all of them in one game, so that's definitely going to add replayability. They all have different things, like I talked about there. That one says gain 2 reward from an empty slot. This one here is take an artisan here. So they all have different abilities, as you can see here, and the artwork on this game is fantastic, like I talked about. But that's it, guys. That is an overview of how the game works. In my opinion, like I said, I played this with my family, and I had a fantastic time playing it. I love the artwork of the game. It definitely stands out from the rest of the games in my collection. This being the deluxe edition, the components are fantastic with the dragon minis and these figures right here. The card artwork is fantastic. The shop artwork is fantastic. The playmat is really nice to keep things organized and stuff like that. And the gameplay is simple and fun, but still has a lot of strategy involved. There's a ton of different ways to score points. Are you going to go for these end goal abilities? Are you going to go for more dragons and place them as fast as possible? Are you going to go for the points on here? Are you going to gain rewards and then give them to other players to go up their reputation pack by giving them resources? You know, a ton of way to score a reputation and points in the game, and a ton of different strategies, especially when more and more advanced shops actually come out on the board and they have their own special abilities that kind of alter the game rules and alter things that you can do. And these cards keep coming up. But it is really simple to play. My family got this game within like 2 or 3 rounds. Everybody knew what they were doing. Of course, you'll learn strategy and better strategies as the game goes on and as you play more and more games. But the ideas of the game and the simple nature of it is almost everything I just described. Obviously, there's a couple of rules that we didn't go over, but that's essentially how this game works, and we had a ton of fun playing it. I could see why this game was really a standout game in 2022 because of how great it looks on the table. Fantastic artwork. Really love worker placement games. People love that, and the fancy looking dragons and stuff like that. And it's really easy to get to the table with family or friends. So this one's definitely going to be staying in the collection. Really, really fun game, guys. If you guys have any questions about anything I talked about in today's video, leave those questions down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.